If you would, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
District 1, Mrs. Runyon.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Lloyd.
Here. Present.
District 3, Mrs. Hicks.
Here.
District 4, Mr. Mason.
Here.
District 5, Mr. Clay.
Here.
District 6, Ms. Shallow.
Here.
District 7, Mrs. Coleman.
Here.
District 8, Mr. Fox. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Welcome again, everyone. If I could get a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. All right. How about the consent agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I have some corrections for
Yes,
some of those
ma'am.
items, if we can walk through them.
We can.
So the first one is the school board meeting minutes. At the last meeting, after coming out of closed, we came back into open, and there was a motion and a second that was then rescinded, but it is not in the meeting minutes.
That was what?
A motion that was made and seconded and then rescinded, but it's not included in the meeting minutes. One of us can provide some details on that if you need. And going through a couple others for another reason, I also saw the meeting minutes on December 9th, 2024. After coming back to open session are incorrect. It actually has me voting on a motion when I wasn't in attendance that day. So I would make a motion to update the meeting minutes for April 14th to include that motion. That'll be the first one.
I don't know if I remember the motion that you're talking about, so I can't confirm or deny if that was,
We can bring it up now, or I can provide it after the fact.
you can bring it up.
All right, it was a motion made by Ms. Runyon to sanction me and not allow me to participate in the superintendent's performance evaluation. It was seconded by Ms. Comer. After some discussion with Walter Potts, the motion was rescinded.
Okay.
One correction. The motion was rescinded because I wasn't willing to argue over a motion.
So you want that in the minutes?
Yes,
Is that your motion?
yes.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on the updating of the minutes from the last meeting? All those in favor of making that correction, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
I'd make a motion to update the meeting minutes from December 9th, 2024 to correct that voting where I was not in attendance.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Next month in the meeting agenda, if we could include some options on how to improve that, because it is part of open session. And it's the only part of open session that is not recorded and presented to the public. So some other school districts move closed session to the beginning of the meeting, but that provides some
Mhm.
conflict in timing and
It
stuff.
is.
Or it can be done after the fact. Maybe if administration or school board members have some options, if we can add that to the agenda next month to discuss how to resolve that going forward,
Maybe just review it after we come out of close to make sure it's correct before we adjourn for the night.
that would be fine.
Okay.
Financial report, the corrections from the finance committee meeting were made, so I would make a motion to approve that as is.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Payment of bills, there was an item this month that came up in the finance committee meeting as well. Were you able to confirm if that $900 in travel expenses was for 1 month or for 2 months?
It was to cover 1 month.
Okay. So, right now, we are paying both a finance director and we are still paying an interim finance director for the last 2.5 years or so. $900 just in travel, doesn't include the labor. That $900 could have been used to pay for T-shirts for the elementary schools instead of the teachers having to beg and borrow to get money to pay for those T-shirts. She provided a lot of help when we didn't have a finance director, so I would say with our thanks and appreciation, I would make a motion that we thank her and discontinue the services for the interim finance director as of June of this year.
Motion on the floor, do we hear a second?
I do not believe we are being fiscally responsible in paying for two finance directors at the same time.
Mr. Chair, can I get
Yes,
one
Mr.
more?
Lloyd.
Should we remove, I hear Ms. Shotwell's concerns, should there be instead maybe a motion to pull item 3 out from under the consent agenda and approve the remainder of consent agenda?
I think that may speed things up unless there are other.
There are other items as
Okay,
well.
Okay.
all right, we'll carry on then.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Ms. Goldman.
So, Dr. Huskin, you may have to correct me on this if I'm wrong. But it was my understanding that the assistant finance director, for a lack of term, was specifically making sure that this high school project stayed on budget and that the invoices were being accurately, accurately billed, and that we were not getting charged for extras, and that she has caught something wrong on every single invoice. So I truly feel like, you know, is it ideal to be paying someone to do something extra and, you know, with what we have going on? No, but she is saving us money every single month, because one of the companies that sends us invoices on this high school project seem to not be able to get their figures in the correct form. So I would be afraid to even imagine how much money we would have lost or would have given, you know, company ABC for us not having someone to solely focus on that, to allow Dr. Buckley to handle the everyday, day-to-day things that we do. So I do not feel like she is going to be with us much longer past this high school project, but I think dismissing her prior to us completing this project would be doing taxpayer money a disservice, because we won't have anybody to backtrack these invoices, yet we'll swamp Dr. Buckley with something else to do with what she already does. So I am not in favor of that motion.
Ms. Shotwell.
That's not something that I had heard. I had previously been told that she was remaining on to be able to digitize our PO payment and stuff like that. She has been in on all of the finance committee meetings for the last 2 months at least that I've been on the committee. And $900 in travel in 1 month is more than we make as a board member, and that's just the travel expenses. So there's got to be more activity and more work than just recognizing and analyzing the contract POs, but that's just the information that I've received.
Mr. Lloyd.
Mr. Chair, I was going to make a recommendation. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking maybe we could ask Dr. Huskin to maybe just offer us a report, maybe even next month, just the one what that job looks like now and what it will look like in the
near future. Yeah.
And then we can make a decision on whether we, you know, what we feel is best, you know, should we continue it long term, short term? But I would like to have more information before making that decision.
Yep.
Thank you.
Roll call? Was there a second, actually?
There was no second.
Okay. So I would make a motion to approve the payment of bills.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Couple more items for auction, if you're able to pull those up. It looks like page 3 with items 28 through 43 appear to be a duplicate of the items on page 1, items 1 through 16. I don't know if they're parts or if it is really a duplicate, but if you see it has C23 as the identifier, C77, and then if you go to the third page, it has the exact same listing.
I'll defer to somebody that knows more about cars than I do.
Mr.
Garber?
Mr. Garber.
Mr. Garber, are they duplicates or are they actually two different parts?
It looks like it was a double print that.
Okay,
So I'd make a motion that we,
I
it
didn't catch evidently.
that's okay.
happens. I would make a motion that we approve items 1 through 27 to be listed for auction.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
JHCC, regulation amendment. It's been updated on the first page to be from pre-K to third grade, and this is for identification and notification to parents. Sorry, guys. Page 2 still references pre-K through third grade for the screening. So I would recommend we, or make a motion to approve the updates with the additional change of updating page 2 with pre-K to third grade to all elementary students.
I second
I-
that motion.
Sorry, I have one thing.
Yes, Ms. Rowland.
So, of course, I was not on the board when,
Wait, Mr. President, I have something. There's a reason.
It's two different things.
There's two different there's a reason for
The
that.
first part is under communication, so that means that anybody in the classroom will receive the letter. The other is the mass screenings. That's also a lot of times when the bullying happens. And so we left that, after talking to Dr. Huskin, we decided to leave that at pre-K through 3. The nurses then will handle it on an individual basis if there needs to be a mass screening.
and that, does that include the actual classroom where the student was pulled
Yes.
from? Okay.
But the letters were the issue at this particular juncture, but
Right.
it's the mass screenings that create.
I agree, and that was part of, what I was,
Yeah.
my concern was, is that, you know, these kids are, they're very smart kids, and so if, you know, child A is pulled out of class and sent home for the day and not sent back to class, I mean, this is what, and you can probably answer this question, was this not a CDC recommendation to change how we were doing it before this change? Was it not recommended by the CDC to do it in that form?
CDC is in the state nursing, so the state group of nursing that meets with all the school nurse coordinators are the ones that originally recommended the change.
And were we not,
We as a board decided not to do that, so we've left our regulation in place as a precautionary, because it is a topic that gets
right,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
reaction.
And we're just trying to handle it carefully so that we want parents notified, but the mass screening, we thought we can stop that at third grade and let the nurses use their discretion for fourth and fifth grade to not pull out the entire class just to handle that. That's why we
That's the
did leave it. So we felt like we put it in there correctly, so we don't feel like there is a need for a change for the mass screening part.
Yes.
My opinion would be if you pull 1 or 2 students out in fourth grade to check them, then that's more of a singling them out than it would be to take the whole class. If you pull one kid out and check them, obviously they're being checked and the other students will know that. You take the whole class out, you're not singling anyone out. My opinion is we should be doing the screening for all of the grades.
I think you would be singling out the student. In my personal opinion, the student that, you know, was removed from the classroom to begin with, that the problem started with, and that's a sticky subject. I don't think that that's
Yeah.
something we should be doing.
Well, we gotta do something, I mean, because it's an issue. I've got, my phone has been blowing up, it's an issue.
Well, I understand that it's an issue, but, I mean, I think the words that were being used and what was being told is not exactly what was happening in the school system. There wasn't an outbreak. I
Well,
mean,
the
those were
words
the
is
words
it-
that was being told, and that wasn't true.
Well, I got pictures sent to me that was true. And I just think we've got to do something to let parents, to protect the kids that are in the classes and protect other kids that are in lower classes. And we got to get some type of knowledge to the parents to say, hey, we've got an issue.
Well, I think that's what this does, is it sends the notification to the parents. It just doesn't single out the children for bullying purposes.
Do we have a motion and a second? Or we did? Any more discussion on this?
We can change it to elementary. That's fine.
It's not that,
It's not that big a deal.
Okay.
We can change it.
all right. Well, we still vote.
Can we restate the motion?
Yeah.
Motion to update the JHCC-R regulation to include what has been provided on the first page for updates from pre-K to third grade to all grades, as well as page 2 to be all elementary school students.
Second? Yes. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
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 Mr. Lloyd and Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
VA corporate renewal, just a clarification on this one. Did our rates actually decrease by 15,000 this year?
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
Excellent, excellent. So it went from 342K to 327,000 for a decreased insurance premiums, so excellent job. I move that we approve the VA Corps renewal rate.
I second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right. I'll now open citizen comments for the 2025 Halifax County Budget Public Hearing. No comments are being made. I will now close it. Dr. Huskin.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final meeting of the 24-25 calendar year. We have much to celebrate, and I would say you all caught me last month because I said the number wrong, so I'm going to ask, Ms. Williams, how many days of school do we have left?
It's 8.
Okay, we have 8 days of school left, because if you want to know, ask a senior. They will tell you how many hours probably that we have left. So we have much to celebrate as we round out the last 8 days. Since we were last together, we have seen our Special Olympians compete in track and field. Our high school students made it safely to prom. And wow, many thanks to everyone who worked so hard to make that night possible. I have said since I got here, no one, and I mean no one, does prom like Halifax. Just this past Friday, actually, we had our SPED students have an additional prom. And I'm telling you what, the next morning, my old knees and back reminded me why I shouldn't get out there and dance with the kids like that, but I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take a minute for it. It was fantastic. Left the golf tournament, went over there and spent a little time with them, and oh boy, it was just fantastic. If you've never been, please put that on your list of things to do next year. It is just really something. So the list just goes on and on with just the amazing things our students and staff are just ways to celebrate. Again, the Ed Foundation's, the Jeff Nelson Golf Tournament is just amazing because everything just goes back to supporting our students. Our students graduated Saturday from SVCC, some of them with dual enrollment, getting their associate's degrees, others getting certificates, being certified in all kinds of things. That's probably the most well-organized event. It was incredible at Longwood on Saturday for SVCC. It was just incredible. Congratulations, Ms. Williams, on earning your associate's degree. I'm proud of you. This is just all the while, testing is going on. So we've got testing going on in every building. Meanwhile, we are inserting the celebration because the state says we have to test, but they can't tell us we can't celebrate while we're at it. And we figured out so many creative ways to do that all the time. There's field days, promotion ceremonies, everything going on at every single level. So please, come out and just support our students. Lastly, thank you to every single person celebrating a milestone year, celebrating your retirement. We celebrated last Thursday evening, and we were able to honor so many years of service. I think I just in the 2025 and all the way up to 45 years, counted 2,005 years of service just in that list. And if we were to add up all the years in the room, my little elementary brain would have exploded. So I didn't even try. So just thank you to each and every one of you. Each of our building teachers of the year and our support people of the year, just thank you. We recognized Dale Jennings at Sidner Jennings as our support person of the year, and Lisa Howell, second grade teacher at Cluster Springs. These ladies, well, they certainly represent the best in all of our whole team. We are grateful for them, and we're grateful for each and every one of you. Hang in there, guys. We're going to make it. 8 more days. Thanks. I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Dr. Huskin. I appreciate that. Welcome again, everybody. I see we have a couple members of the Halifax County Education Foundation here. You guys will have the floor a little bit later for a presentation, but as Dr. Huskin said, Friday was the Jeff Nelson annual golf tournament that the proceeds go back to our athletic department. So weather was great, participation was great, and thank everybody that played a role in that. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and I guess a few days late, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. No, there were a lot of festivities last week going on in a lot of the schools. As Dr. Huskin said, Thursday night was the Staff Appreciation Dinner. It was really a fun evening. Ms. Howell was honored as Teacher of the Year. Ms. Jennings as Excellence in Service Award winner. Both did a tremendous job, and thanks to everybody that has worked with their kids, everybody that reached a milestone year of employment, and congratulations to those retirees for starting that next chapter. To all the employees, congratulations. The end is pretty close.
You going to start singing an Elvis song?
Not yet. That would clear the room. But thank you all for everything that you all have done this year. Hope you all have a tremendous summer. We got great things starting in 2020, the 2025-2026 school year. Just probably a once in 40-year event and opening the new high school. So looking forward to that. But thank you all for all that you've done. Enjoy your break. It'll pass by soon. You'll be back at it really quick. Thank you. Vice Chair Clay, anything?
No.
Ms. Williams.
Good evening, Dr. Huskin, Chairman Mason, Vice Chairman Clay, and all other school board members. With just 8 days left in the school year, the students of Halifax County High School are buzzing with anticipation. While summer break may be approaching, the students haven't checked out just yet. We've stayed focused and engaged throughout the home stretch of May. Our many different sports, clubs, and organizations have been wrapping up and are all looking to finish the year strong. The boys, JV, and varsity soccer teams have had strong seasons, with JV holding an 8-3-1 record and varsity at 9-6. Both the JV and varsity girls soccer teams have also represented Halifax County High School well, with JV at 4-0-3 and varsity at 8-5-1. The boys tennis team will compete in their first district match this Wednesday, aiming to showcase their hard work. The girls tennis team, with an impressive 12-4 record, also plays their first district match Wednesday. Athletes from both teams feel ready for the challenge. The girls and boys track and field teams have also continued to have athletes qualify for states in their individual and relay events, with both teams gearing up for their district meet this Wednesday. The JV baseball team has had an impressive season so far, with a 13-5-1 record, demonstrating strong performances and teamwork. The varsity team has also had a solid season, currently holding a record of 12-6. Both teams have shown skill and determination and are looking to continue representing Halifax County High School with pride. The JV softball team has had an exceptional season, remaining undefeated and showcasing their dominance and teamwork. The varsity team has also had a strong season with a 13-6 record. Both teams have demonstrated impressive skill and determination throughout the entire season. The Student Council Association has been very busy planning end-of-the-year events for students. They had a night to remember on April 26th at this year's prom. Students looked fantastic, perfectly capturing the elegance and glamour of the Great Gatsby theme. The SCA has also been planning events for seniors to help make their last weeks in high school memorable. They will be hosting a senior field day on May 16th and a senior brunch on May 20th. They will finish the senior events on May 21st to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2025 and reflect on their time at Halifax County High School with Class Day. Last month, Yovaso invited students to participate in a distracted driver simulator. Students were challenged to maneuver through cones while experiencing different distractions like the radio, loud friends, and your phone. I was able to participate in this simulation, and although it was really fun trying to navigate through cones while trying to take a selfie, it helped highlight the real dangers of taking your focus off the road. Members of the club were also invited to spend time at James Madison University over the summer for this year's Yovaso retreat. Students are excited for this trip and are even more excited to bring back some awesome ideas to make next year even better. Peer Mediation is excited to continue its partnership with Southside Behavioral Health. Additionally, 4 students from Peer Mediation are preparing to attend a week-long conference at this summer at Christopher Newport University, sponsored by Virginia ABC. In recognition of National Nurses Week, hosts have recognized the different nurses we have at Halifax County High School. The nurses were given cookies, a card, and flowers to say thank you for everything they do. In honor of May being National Mental Health Awareness Month, members of hosts are asking students to wear green in support of good mental health on May 15th. As you can see, students at Halifax County High School have been very busy and will continue their hard work all the way through the remainder of the school year. The end of the school year is a time of fun and a time where students reflect on all the memories, lessons, and challenges that they faced throughout the year. I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing all the endeavors of the students at Halifax County High School, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to highlight their hard work and achievements. It has been such a rewarding experience. Thinking of all the amazing things I've gotten to share with everyone is just a reminder of how much students can achieve when they stay focused, work hard, and support one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Committee reports, code of conduct, Mr. Clay, and I sat in for Ms. Comer. If you want to update us on anything from there.
Not a lot. Mr. Lewis is working on the attendance regulations, and I think we worked on a couple things of getting the same. The middle school and high school kind of on the same page with a couple of things, but I mean not a whole lot to detail there.
Okay. All right. Finance Committee, Ms. Hicks, Ms. Shotwell.
Yep, so we are 77% expended with 2 months remaining in the year, so doing well there. Still have end of the year bills to come in. We are 79% expended on the high school construction project. We reviewed all of the bills to be paid and the budget amendments that we'll be discussing later tonight. We talked about the capital improvement plan, including the maintenance schedule for facilities and fleet replacement schedules. Started working on this last year. It's in process. Should hopefully be completed within June to come to either the facilities committee or to the full board. We talked about the capital carryover fund. The balance needs some adjustments, and administration is working with the board of supervisors on that, and that is good news for us. We talked about online registration for the 2025-26 school year, hopefully including parental notifications, the transportation plans, and the parental signatures of the code of conduct. Make the process easier for staff and for parents, and also give the school system over $100,000 in savings per year by digitizing that. We learned about the joint venture in the works with the Education Foundation, which is on the agenda for later today. We did also find out that we are overexpended in our ESSER 3 funds by $1.1 million, not due to school system errors, but due to federal freezes, temporarily being covered by other funds, and hopefully should be resolved soon when we get updates from the federal government. The caboose payment that we learned about a month or two ago, the spring actual ADM versus fall estimated ADM should be known within May or June. Hopefully that'll be an increase and not a decrease, but we'll get the details on that. And we had a pre-review of the 24-25 school year budget amendments that is also on the agenda later, and they will take us through.
All right. Thank you for that. I think Mr. Holbrooks is having some technical difficulties, so we will come back to him if that's agreeable to everybody. Dr. Buckley.
Good evening, School Board Chair, Vice Chair, Dr. Huskin. On the screen, you will see that we are presenting the final review of the proposed 25-26 school year budget. This budget has been posted publicly for review for tonight's hearing, along with giving the community an opportunity to provide feedback. As previously presented, the budget remains unchanged from the governor's proposed budget. We are seeking your approval tonight to approve this budget to send to the Board of Supervisors as our final proposed budget for FY26. The key highlights of this budget include a 3% increase for all staff to recognize their dedication and hard work. An increase in funding for the K3 class size reduction was included in the state and local, and an increase in funding for additional VPI programs to better serve our early childhood education needs. Additionally, there were some reductions in the state and local funding. There was a reduction in basic aid, early reading intervention, SOL algebra readiness, career and tech education, regular VPI programs, and school breakfast. These were all voted for and approved by the governor in the General Assembly. So this is our final look. However, it isn't as depressing as it sounds. Overall, the budget reflects a total increase in the state of $1,611,816. For the local match, that will be $320,946 increase, which will help support all of our challenges and help continue success in our programs. So we respectfully ask that you approve the budget tonight. We had already spoken about the carry forward pieces. We have a little bit left in the state Stronger Connections grant, so we'll need to pull that over. And we have all in money. We are requesting $1,186,000, but we may have a little bit more than that. After summer school, we'll know the real number. So that may be an amendment later next year should we have more funds. Then we have our county carryover that we requested that's going to include security, is capital improvement projects, our fleet replacements, Stay With Us, Grow With Us, competitive program that we have. And I do want to make just a comment here, which will require an amendment as well. We did obtain a $550,000 grant. We've been approved at the state level, so that will go into play July 1. So we will have to do an amendment at that time once we receive the formal letter, and the county is aware of that. We also received $174,000 for safety personnel within our schools. So those two items will be added after the official letters come out. So this is an $84,087,191 budget. And now I give it to you as you choose.
Any questions for Dr. Bucklew? And we'd be glad to make that amendment for that $500,000 grant. That would not be a problem.
Security.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Yawel.
Is the Board of Supervisors still working on some budget stuff? Is it possible that this might come back to us and we have to have another public hearing and meeting on it, or is it final to your knowledge?
From what Mr. Simpson said, it's final. The numbers that we presented to them have not changed. So we just have this one formal step to take. And then we have to get it to them by tomorrow, so.
We have plenty of time to talk about it then.
I make a motion, we approve the budget.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
No. I'm still against taking $2.8 million out of our capital carryover fund to balance the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Holbrook, so you up and rolling now?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so.
Come give us an update on the high school construction project, please, sir.
Okay. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Oh,
That
we
looks
got it.
a little better.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Chairman Mason, Vice Chair Clay, and fellow board members. I'm, would be filling in in Vince's place from here on out, it looks like, so. If you just want to advance it. Okay. First, project update, construction progress. We've got the loading docks have been completed and brought into service. The high soffits and headers in the cafeteria are being framed and sheetrocked in preparation for paint and sealing infills. The scaffold, there'll be pictures of some of these items later. The scaffold system that had filled the theater space, must have been for 2 months, has been removed, so finishes and and seating can be installed. Concrete walkways have been placed at the main entrance to the school. Works continued on the full height south entrance to the cafeteria. The walk-in cooler flooring was completed this month. The exterior metal panel work is just almost there. Installation of drinking fountains and fire extinguisher cabinets continues. Grading at the practice soccer field has been completed and the area is seeded. Got railings that are being painted and suspended. The suspended stainless steel handrails are being hung from them. There's a picture of that shortly. Casework work has been installed in much of the classroom wings. Concrete curbs damaged by construction operations are being identified, removed, and replaced. That has to happen before final paving, which will be after school's out. Floor covering has been installed on the second level of the competition gym. The competition gym wood floor has been installed ahead of sanding, painting, and finish. Bleachers have been installed on the second level of the competition gym, and they were starting the first level as I was out there today. Marker and tack boards are being installed in the classroom wings. Elevator installation is underway with elevator 1. That's the one at the classroom, closest to the classroom wings, being scheduled for inspection on the, May 22nd. Work on elevator 2 is proceeding, but is lagging behind. Not behind, but we're wanting to do the classroom wings, so we'll have it available for furniture going up.
Okay.
This probably looks familiar because the number hasn't changed. Got some information in today that will drive that, but the tax savings is what I'm referring to. Outdoor upcoming purchase orders. We've got the outdoor cafeteria furniture. We've got a meeting scheduled tomorrow to discuss the options there. Moving, we've issued a PO to provide boxes for the staff and teachers to pack all the stuff away or into to get them moved, and appliances we've still got to put a PO out on that. Abatement and hazmat monitoring and demolition are all part of the demolition. I put this in, this is new, just to show, kind of give you a feel for where we should be when, where we're looking at being when. First is the delivery dates to be provided for remaining CTE equipment. Some of the CTE equipment we're lagging a little bit in getting the finishes specified or approved, and that's all cleared up now. So we're expecting delivery dates for all that material between before this Friday. We've issued PO for the moving boxes. They came in the 8th, we issued it on the 8th, and they came in on the 9th for the next item. All except for a few, which will come in, should have come in today. I'm not sure if they did or not. And there, again, final decision for outdoor furniture. We're going with Hertz on that. They'll be here tomorrow for a meeting. Last day for classes for students, May 22nd. Elevator operational, that'll be elevator 1 at the wings, classroom wings. And that's targeted for 5/22. The delivery of admin furniture will start the first week of July. That's in the admin. Main classroom furniture delivery will be following that. Contract substantial completion is 7/10. Delivery of cafeteria tables will start on the 14th through that week. Move staff boxes and miscellaneous. So that will be the same company that moved or provided the boxes will be coming to help with the move. Contractual final completion minus commissioning is 7/31. Teacher return August 4th. Convocation is to be held at the middle school now at 8:05. Open house is 8:14, and first day of school 25-26 is 8/18, August 18th. There's a few pictures of the loading dock, you put it to use, and not much more to say about that. Here's the railings. This is typical of a lot of the railings on the stairs, especially around the gym and the cafeteria area. This is the concrete out front. I apologize for the picture. I snapped that today and didn't notice I got the mullion in it. And here's your gym. You can see the bleachers are on all 4 sides, and you'll have these are the supports for the first level, and they were moving that material in as I was out there today, so that'll be coming. This it was kind of a milestone for me. I don't know how many of you've seen it out there, but they had that scaffolded from the floor to the ceiling all the way. I mean, just working on top of it, and it started coming down last week, and it's made a big difference. Here again, this is safety for keep people from dropping things down the elevator shaft. This elevator 1, the 2nd level, and they got the frame in. We got the casework for the biology lab in wing B, and the next one I think is chemistry lab. That's what it looked like from below. You've probably seen the pictures from above, but it's been that way for a while. And then that's what you were probably seeing last time. And that's the full height entrance to the cafeteria from the south side. And I think that is an old picture. That one got slipped in there, I guess. But anyway, I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you for that update. Any questions, Mr. Holbrooks? Yeah, Ms. Otwell.
The railings are painted white. Is that the primer coat or is that the final coat?
That I'm not sure. I meant to check, but I think it's because if you notice the walls, I think the other ones I can get back to you on that.
That's fine, thank you. White will show up everything
May not be the
possible.
preferred color
Yeah.
with teenagers, but.
Yeah. One thing, if you could follow up on as well, the last tour I went through the school was back in February-ish. And they had the curbs up for the car rider line, for the car drop-off lanes. And it looks like it's only wide enough for a single vehicle to go through the car rider pickup and drop-off line. And Mr. Merska was following up on that with a civil engineer, and they indicated that there should be actually room for a bypass in there. So if there's a car sitting at curb and it takes a while for a student to load and get into the car, that there's actually room to bypass them and go around. It doesn't look like that's wide enough, if that's something that you
That's
can
at the
follow
new
up.
school?
Yes, at the
Okay.
new school.
Okay, I can look into that.
Yeah, if you can check on that. And I'm not an engineer, I can't tell, but I drive a truck, and to make that corner, I'm not sure I could do that if there was a car there. It doesn't look wide enough. And then just one other thing, if you could work with, if the board, if it pleases the board, if you could work with Mr. Mason or something and get a tour for the school board members.
Okay.
It has been a while since a lot of us have been out, so if you can coordinate that for the board.
Okay, we can do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Clay?
I got one thing, it's the same thing I asked every time. We got graduation coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I drove by the school, of course I drive by it every day because I live right there at the school. That water issue's still there. We got graduation coming up, and I'm sure that the teachers and the principals don't want to be getting these people through this water. Anything we can do to get a drain in there, get that
Well,
water out of there.
the thing is, the drain is there.
In that
but-
in that bottom.
At that bottom, the drain is there, but that DEQ won't let you open it up because until the grass is mature enough to keep silt from building up in the pipes. You're subject to fine if you remove it.
In the roadway. I'm talking about in the roadway. In that bottom in that roadway, water puddles like a pond.
Okay, I thought you were talking about in that
No.
hole out between the two.
No, in the roadway, that water puddles there. It's just like a
Okay.
pond. You don't have much rain. I mean,
Did you see it today?
yeah.
I'm riding right by there. I'll take a look at it.
It's there every time. It could rain a tenth. If it rains 2 inches, you're gonna have more than a puddle. But I mean,
Okay.
I know when Mr. Davis got graduation coming up, and teachers and people just don't want to walk through it. If we can look at something, because all that water from that hill, I mean, it comes straight down.
Okay.
And I understand the drains on the side with DEQ, but that water just coming and just sitting there.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll look on my way home.
All right.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Miller, Dr. Huskin, calendar update.
We have seen some dates, and the first report, you're like, those don't add up, so let's, working a little bit in reverse, so. Ms. Miller?
Good evening, Chairman Mason, members of the school board, Dr. Huskin, and members of the community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I come before you this evening to respectfully request approval for a necessary revision to the 25-26 instructional calendar. After the initial approval of the calendar, a calculation error was discovered that affects the instructional days. We asked to change March 19th to an early release day to give us a total of 180 days versus 179 days. This adjustment would be minimal and not impact other dates on the calendar that may require reconvening the committee. Tonight, I respectfully ask for your approval of the amended calendar so that we may communicate the changes clearly and promptly to our families and staff. I appreciate your understanding and support as we work to maintain the integrity of our planning process. And that's the third bullet you see there. It's currently a full-day parent-teacher conference day, and we would like to make it an early release day and a parent-teacher conference evening.
To extend it even to 6 in the evening, so that working parents can have longer time to get there. Even after it went through the calendar revision, it went to the calendar committee, it went through how many times, and it was counted and counted and counted, and then it was brought up like, oh no, it's 179, it's got to be 180 and 990 clock hours, or we're out of compliance. So something has to be done to get us in compliance.
Mr. Lloyd, and then I'll come to Ms. Hicks.
Well, thank you for your recommendations and your effort on this. I personally, I think of all years where we've discussed a later start date of all years, I would like to see us move that start date a full week. So instead of being the 13th to the 20th, and start all schools at the same time. And the reason for that, I mean, I know we often hear, well, one, I think as a parent, it's easier if you have children in multiple levels. You have all of them going back to school at the same time. It's much easier as a parent. But I know we also have heard from years, at least I have for years, from the elementary school side, and they always feel like the high school teachers get special treatment in some of the things, and everything involves around the high school schedules. And I've heard that many times over the years. And just the spirit of fairness, if nothing else, I would like to see them all start back at the same time, pushing it to the 20th. I think we still have proven over the last few years that we can easily accommodate a schedule. Recent conversations about the calendar and the hours and whatnot have demonstrated that we have the ability to make that change. And I just think it allows for anything that happens, water issues, any construction issues that may arise that we can't foresee at this very moment, or punch ticket items. You know, things will come up that we need to make changes on or corrections that we see once we get in the building. And this just gives us a little more time to fully prepare. I like the concept of moving it 3 days, but I would just like to see one consistent start time, pick the 20th and just roll with it, and then next year revert back to whatever we've already approved. I just think for this year, this is something we don't do all the time in Halifax County at high school. Probably none of us have lived through that, and it's hard to anticipate any potential problems. I think it just gives us a little more time to prepare or respond. So.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. Ms. Hicks?
I just had a clarifying question. So you're asking about the 19th of March.
I am.
And it's because we don't have, because I always thought we had 15 extra days, which is a lot of hours built in. So how does that work? You're saying we need to get up to 990 hours, but I thought we were like way above that hour limit of the 15 snow days that we had in our calendar.
So we work towards, so the code asks for a minimum of 180 teaching days or 990 teaching hours. We try to meet and or exceed both of those just so we can have a 180-day calendar. And we do have more than 990 hours just in case there are, you know, weather or different types of delays, because those all chip away at our hours. So we do meet the hours requirement.
You have to start with the 180 days regardless, and then once you are off of that 180 days, then you switch to the clock hours. So you really, when you do that math, you can't really, it doesn't really equate to exactly the hours. Like you can't just say, okay, we're doing, you have, the code says you really should start with 180 days. Like if the state were to audit us, and you can't really get away with saying, oh, we have a 179-day calendar because we're doing the clock hours. You don't get to choose. You really have to have a 180-day calendar. And because you can't count things like the lunch and the homerooms and all of that. So it's so confusing how it's all calculated, and we're really not there 15 extra days just because of the way it is calculated. And I feel like we have maybe done our folks a disservice by saying you're really there an extra 15 days. You're really not, because if you just do the look at the calendar, we're really not in school an extra 15 days, and our kids are not in school from 7 in the morning until 5 on any given day. So it's really not 15 extra days of hours that they're there. We meet the code, we meet the requirement, but we all know that we were at home a lot this past year in any way you break it down. Yes, do we meet the code? Yes, but we with integrity want to have a 180-day calendar when we start school. And then when we have to start subtracting, every 2-hour delay, we have to subtract from that. Every whatever instance that we incur, we need to start the subtraction process from that, and we keep that on our spreadsheet. the reason why we have asked for a difference, and I hear exactly what you're saying. We've tried to work in conjunction with the construction folks, and the reason why we did ask for something different is because we only open a school once in a generation. And we ask that everybody else start on time, because it would, in our thinking, I'll just give you, what our thinking was on this, and the instructional team spent hours kind of putting together and working with the construction folks on what this could look like. And what we put together was school would start on the 13th for all of the other schools, and that would give them 3 days to work out all of the bus things, all of the normal things that happen when you open school. And that would allow those full 2 weeks at the high school for those teachers to finish moving, get their boxes unpacked, get oriented. Because, oh my goodness, it's not just moving things, it is, where am I? I'm in a whole new space. How do these bells work? How do these things work in this new space? Without having to think about doing it with students. So they have, Gary and the team have assured us that they'll be ready on that following Monday. And they've pretty much said, we'll be ready. So if we're doing it with everyone that following Monday, then we are, again, as a division support team, we are spread thin. If we open school on the 13th with everyone else, then we are in those 3 days working out all of the bus schedules that are delayed and all of the things to support them. And then we are in full force from central office at the high school on that Monday. They are then allowed to have their open house. Only the high school are allowed to have their open house on that Thursday. And really, we're allowed to focus on opening the high school, only them, with everybody else already open, some of the bugs worked out in those first 3 days. So that was the thinking that the instructional team, and in talking with Mr. Davis at the high school, just giving them a little bit of extra time and not having everybody going great guns on the first day of school. So again, that was just our thinking and why we were asking for a little bit something different this year and why we had asked for this plan. And then that also keeps us in alignment with days, hours, all of that. Now, should something happen, we have been, Ms. Miller has been talking to Mecklenburg, because that's our closest neighbor that most recently opened a school. And should something happen, and there needs to be a further delay, okay, what would we do? What would we do, Ms. Miller?
Well, I'm in conversations with them, so I just need to get a better understanding of how their plan worked from the beginning of the school year. And so we would have more details there, but we would look to see just a good instructional plan so that all of our students could get a full year.
So it would look something more like beginning the school year, potentially virtually. I mean, because everyone thinks, oh, we can just go back in the old building. Well, think about what your house looks like when you move out of it. We will be taking technology out. We will be taking safety components out. We'll be taking things out of that old building. And you can't just, oh, let's run back over there and set up and teach. You can't ask teachers to be in two places at once. We would be talking about just a matter of a few more days on either side. So you really have to shift your thinking. Once we move out of that building, we're out of that building. So we would just have to come up with, what does that look like? Not come up with it, but continue. Okay, plan B. What is plan B? But we think plan A, and our construction folks are very confident that plan A will work. Because I asked them, I'm going to the board one time. I want to go to the board one time, ask for an extension that you all are confident that will work. I'm not going to keep coming back and asking for extensions unless there is something major. Should we get something that is just beyond anyone's control? That's the only reason I want to have to come back. So that's kind of where we are.
Ms. Runyon, did you have something?
I did, just a couple things. Obviously, I wasn't a fan of a almost 3-week Christmas break, so I would propose if we're adding an early release day, I mean, do we have to have an early release day on the 19th? I mean, that's almost 3 full weeks of a Christmas break that the kids are going to be out of school. So I would propose, if you're wanting to add one for March 19th, that we remove the December 19th early release date. I don't see on the calendar where that is a date that is scheduled for for teacher conferences. I know it's the end of a 9 weeks, but I'm not seeing where that afternoon is.
Just because teachers have to get grades in. That's the end of the, is that the end of the
That's the
semester?
end of the semester.
That's the end of the semester, and teachers have, and that's the end, and they have to change over. I mean,
Okay, then I would move to April 3rd. Is that an early release date that we can take away?
no, you're perfect. We're just answering questions. I mean, and again, it's at the board's, it's at your discretion. We're just trying to answer questions. Is that an end of a?
That's an end of the fourth 9 weeks interim.
Yeah.
April 3rd.
April 3rd.
That's right before spring break.
Mhm.
If that's your preference.
I mean, if that is easier on the teachers than the 19th of December, then I would propose that we kind of do a trade-off. We take away the early release date for April 3rd if we're adding an early release date on March 19th. And then my thoughts in reference to the school, as I hear I hear what you guys are saying, I hear what Mr. Lloyd is saying. Obviously, in a perfect world, we want to start school on the date that we originally stated, but, you know, it's not a perfect world. So I don't think that we should, I'm obviously not a fan of taking days away from the school year. So I'm not a fan of moving it to the 20th. However, I would be a fan of, if we're going to start one school age group on one date, I feel like we should do it across the board. And I hear what you're saying in reference to the start date. I get it in terms of the new high school, but I would propose that we have all schools start on this same date. So if that means the 18th for high school, then I would propose we do it for all schools.
Then we probably want to reconvene
I think we would need to reconvene
the calendar committee.
Well, I guess it would depend on,
Yeah.
what the board had to say about it. I mean, I don't.
Were you first?
She was.
Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
All right, so, if I understand correctly, and I'm sorry, because I'm slightly or extremely confused over this still. So, when we start the school year, we have to have 180 days. And then to finish the school year, we have to have 990 hours.
In order to stay in compliance, because once you move away from the 180, then you can start counting clock hours.
Okay, so last year and every other year, we've always been told that there's 10 snow days built in. Then January, we were told that there's 20 snow days built in, which I'm assuming, we went through the calculations with the number of hours and everything. So if we have 20 days worth of extra hours built in, how many hours do we actually have built into this schedule?
Do you know how many hours?
I don't know by heart. I have it calculated, but I don't have it committed by heart. I could get back with you on that.
All right. Yeah, somehow we need to clear this up, because it seems like we're bouncing around with, there's 10 days, there's 15 days, there's 20 days, there's not, there's 180, there's 179. Honestly, I'm so confused at this point. I don't know where we are. I would fully agree. I've always been a proponent to start school a little bit earlier so that we can end the semester before Christmas break, rather than going back in January and having a week or two and having testing and stuff after they've been off for a while. But at the same time, we have this huge project, and giving teachers a week and a half to get moved in and get settled. We want this to be as stress-free as possible for high school, and we want it to be fair for the elementary and middle schools as well. I don't think sending some schools back earlier than the others is fair, and I don't think 3 days is really going to give us much. So I think my recommendation would be to open the calendar committee back up and have a team try to work through it and make it clear. And if we have to fix it next year, we can do that, but starting the school year, we've had multiple concerns about whether we'll be ready for that. I think we need some of these questions answered. I would be okay with moving that half-day from the 19th or from whichever the other date was that Mrs. Runyon brought up, if that's necessary. But I think we just need one recommendation.
Mr. Clay?
Two things. we all know that there's a lot of things can happen on a new construction, and some things have already happened. See, I think coming up with a plan B is very important at this point, quickly. Because plan B may be put in action. I've heard we're gonna get in it, I've heard we're not gonna get in it. So I think we need a plan B other than plan A, quickly. This is a once in a lifetime, probably for me, to see this. We don't need to rush it. We need to make sure it's right. There's a lot of money involved in this. We need to make sure it's right. And the second thing on starting, I heard from a lot of teachers this year, and I think them having input with this calendar is fantastic, and they need to have an input in it. I like starting these kids on Wednesday because the kids don't need a 5-day week, first week. And the teachers don't need it neither, in my opinion, because the teachers need some time to adjust. So I think we need to listen to their concerns, and that was one of their concerns. We're starting Wednesday, even Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, either one. That's just my feelings on it.
Mr. Lloyd?
Yeah, and I'm gonna make this next comment, and I make this with full appreciation of everything that the calendar committee did. You know, that's a lot of work to pull that calendar committee, and if you, as Ms. Miller as well, to pull that through. But at the same time, the calendar committee is advisory in nature. Actually setting the calendar falls on the responsibility of the school board. So, I mean, I think we reasonably could look at this calendar and quickly make whatever changes are needed, or at least at a very minimum, make a start date change, which would allow, if anything needs to go beyond that, it can be worked out further. But I think it's important for people to know, I mean, for planning vacations, for planning, I mean, I'm sure some people, just their household budgets need time to consider whatever start date we may be offering them. So I do agree with Mr. Clay. You know, I hear often about the midweek, and that's the only reason I recommended not going on the 18th, but the 20th. But I would be okay with the 18th, but I've often heard that they would prefer a midweek. And again, this is, I couldn't agree with Mr. Clay more in this one sentiment than that, you know, we need to make sure we get it right. We don't rush it. We have everything, everybody's prepared. The classrooms are set up fully. People are acclimated, like you mentioned earlier, to their environments. I mean, it's just, I would agree. I just think this 1 year, having as much time as possible to make sure that we're fully ready is important.
Ms. Comer?
So I was the one actually on this calendar committee, and we had a great group of people. There were some administrators, teachers from all walks of life on this. And the biggest concern that was brought to us, there were some parents in the room as well, and it was definitely, you know, of course, the Monday start for the little babies. Like it being a super rough go for them. And we worked very, very diligently, lots of opinions and all kind of discussions went into this. So my question is, you know, Mr. Lloyd, with what you were talking about, are you wanting us to look at this now and just try to fix it in like tonight, or what are you recommending? Because, I mean, I want the people who are going to be working this calendar to have input on making sure that we do something that is for them, because they have to work it, we don't. And I don't think it's fair to our staff to just, you know, we all, there was a lot of very opinionated women and people in that calendar committee, and we all sat down and made this together. And I really feel like we need to make sure that their thoughts are considered into this before we make any decisions. And if that is, we all sit back down and try again, then that's what we'll have to do. But, you know, it is May, and I've had a lot of parents already talk to me about they've already made trips for spring break next year that they've paid for based off of, you know, knowing that we had built this calendar to have off for spring break at certain days, and, you know, the last day of school was this day, and, you know, yada yada. So, you know, I just don't know kind of where we go from this point without taking into the considerations that Dr. Huskin and Ms. Miller brought to us tonight.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm done.
no, you're good, Ms. Coleman. Mr. Clay, did you have something?
Well, to piggyback off of that, I think we got to have the school calendar involved because I'm sure there's educational deadlines that you guys have got to meet that none of us are aware of. And there's stuff set from the state. So, I mean, I think the calendar committee has to be involved dramatically with this because, I mean, I'm sure there's hours, there's deadlines, and I know there's different deadlines for the high school versus middle school versus elementary. So I'm with Ms. Coleman. I think the calendar committee needs to reconvene some way and figure it out how they can move forward and we work with them as well as we can to get this thing going in the right direction.
Mr. Lloyd?
Mr. Chair, I was just gonna respond to Ms. Comer. I know she'd asked the question what my recommendation was. My recommendation is, as a board, we set a start date. We pick the start date, and then if it needs to go back to the calendar committee to work backwards from there, then that's fine. But at a very minimum, we pick a start date for the purpose of construction planning, all the moving that goes on involved with it, parents and teachers planning whatever activities they need to plan. So I'm not saying eliminate the calendar committee, and again, I say all this with full appreciation for what they did. It was just a matter of picking a start date tonight so we can all kind of know where we stand as a system
Okay.
come August.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, so would it be possible if we did, with all due respect, to pick the, if you, let's say you went with the start date of a week later, could we, and again, because people are under contract, I mean, contracts are going out and they're still under contract. Really what we're asking for is that they have more work days. That's really what we're asking, is that teachers have more time. We're not asking that they come later. We're asking that they have more time to get ready, because our convocation is already set. It's set for the 5th. We've booked a pretty amazing speaker. It's the one that you all saw at VSBA, that guy, he was pretty hard to get. So that's already coming. So really what we're asking is more time to get ready. And that's never a bad thing, because that's more professional development. We have all of these reading initiatives. There's lots that can be done. So would it be possible if we were able to figure that out, if you did set the start date of the 20th, and we could figure out if we could possibly maybe just readjust first semester in there? And I mean, hearing what Ms. Comer was saying, to not have the whole thing turn on its ear. If we could potentially move it to the 20th, that still gives that, or something like that, so that it is still a Wednesday start, and maybe have you all charge Ms. Miller, maybe not have to reconvene the whole committee. That doesn't turn it all on an apple cart.
Okay.
To have some meet in the middle to give more time, but so that people would know.
With all teachers still coming back on August 20th.
Yes, because that's really what we're asking for, is more time on the front end before school opens, and they're under contract. So, I mean, we're paying them, so.
Ms. Hicks?
Yeah. Okay, so if we went with that scenario, we'd have to take 5 days out somewhere for semester in order to get our 180 days. So we would be dipping into some of those breaks in red. So for instance, like taking away maybe Labor Day, October 13th, November 11th, that would bring us to 3, and we would still need 2 more. So that would be cutting away quite a bit of breaks in first semester. It is, in my understanding, right? Because we would still need to get to the 180 days. So if we're starting 5 days later, we would have to add 5 days back from the red days, which is quite dramatic, I think.
Well, you adjust the end of first semester.
Or you would push or you're saying, or the other option is to push the end of first semester into January, and then the end of the school year would go into June.
Which is always possible. As long as you get to 180, you can potentially go. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule that says you have to end before Memorial Day. I mean, lots of places go. We could add them to second semester, and there'd just be a little bit of imbalance.
I think it would be hard for pupil coming back to take tests after Christmas break. That's-
Absolutely. So you
I
can
mean,
add
it's-
them to second semester.
Yeah, if you're
Just
coming
for
back
one
just
year, be out of, a little bit out of balance, go after Memorial Day.
Which we're currently.
Yep. Michelle?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we adjust the starting of school for all schools to August 20th with a follow-up recommendation from administration on the impacts and additional changes that might be needed with the calendar committee if needed, or a work session for the school board, something. So motion is starting school for all schools on August 20th.
Motion on the floor, second?
I'll second that motion.
Can you say the rest of the motion? How would the rest of the school year?
They'll come back with a recommendation,
Within your term.
or maybe two options.
Second.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
That's my
Go on.
only point that I was gonna make a moment ago is, rarely have we ever had a 90-90 split. I mean, that's not historically accurate in Halifax County. And I would certainly leave that up to the determination of the calendar committee, what works best. Like you said, for instructional purposes, testing purposes, you fill in the blank there. But I think we leave that up to the calendar committee. How do you make that work? And I mean, I trust that they can make that work. I don't think that's a drastic change. It's still earlier than we've been going back the past few years, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we can certainly make that work.
What I would say is the 3-day late start for the high school, as you and I talked when we set the agenda, is the least invasive plan. And again, it does give the high school teachers 3 additional days to work out the kinks, get their room set up. I think moving it back this far is it's gonna throw the whole thing. As Ms. Hicks said, we're gonna have to find days elsewhere. So, but we do have a motion, second, on starting all schools August 20th. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Roll call, please.
Roll call.
Sorry, Tammy.
District 1, Ms. Rainey.
No.
District 2, Mr. Lloyd.
Yes.
District 3, Mrs. Hicks.
No.
District 4, Mr. Mason.
No.
District 5, Mr. Clay.
Yes.
District 6, Ms. Shotwell.
Yes.
District 7, Ms. Coleman.
No.
Motion fails 3.
I make a motion that we do what they recommended. The middle school and elementary schools start on the 13th, and the high school starts on the 18th.
I second that.
Any adjustments on the other days that they were
Oh,
asking for?
and then the 19th. Everything on that screen that she wants, that's my motion.
The 19th would be a half day.
Yes. Sorry. I can't remember. There you go. Yep, and then changing March 19th from a full day. I do have one question about that though, now that you brought that back up. So it's a blue day and a yellow day on the calendar. So we are changing the 19th to a half a day, and then they're still gonna be off completely on the 20th.
Yes.
Okay.
The 20th is a professional development day.
Okay, that's where I was not following. I got you. Okay, yes. So that's my motion, please.
Ms. Hicks, did you second? Any other discussion on this? I probably need a roll call again.
District 1, Ms. Runyon.
No.
District 2, Mr. Lloyd.
No.
District 3, Ms. Hicks.
Yes.
District 4, Mr. Mason.
Yes.
District 5, Mr. Clay.
Yes.
District 6, Ms. Shotwell.
No.
District 7, Ms. Coleman.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-3.
Can we get clarification on the 990 hours and all of that, 20 sick days or 20 snow days or whatever at the next meeting or somehow?
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, ma'am. And we will once again ask the state, because I feel like we get a different answer depending on who we talk to from the state, and that is added to our own levels of confusion. So we will bring back the latest version of that. So,
And
Ms.
with that
Ms. Hicks.
clarification, I know there's lots of waivers, and so how many days can be stacked? If we get 15 snow days and 5
All of that.
waivers and 5 more waivers, then we're at 25 days out of school and in
Yes.
school for 155. So like, how far does it go?
How far does it go? Well, let's hope we don't have them this year. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a year we don't want them.
Okay.
So yes, thank you. Thank you.
We can have an update at a June meeting, just a refresher on all of that.
We'll do
All right,
things snow days.
perfect. Thank you. Dr. Bucklew?
Good evening again, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Superintendent, and Board members. I am presenting to you the current year. We need to make an amendment in our budget. The state approved in this school year a $1,000 bonus for all SOQ employees, and Halifax County Public Schools will be issuing a $1,000 bonus to all staff. The state has distributed $523,308, and we will be needing to allocate that as a state revenue. And also in the expenses, it has been distributed into the instructional. So I would need an approval from you all tonight to send this to the Board of Supervisors to amend our current year budget to total $81,187,097.
I make a motion to amend the budget.
I second that motion.
Michelle, you have a question, discussion?
Yeah, the bonus, the 500,000 is for the $1,000 bonus, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that approved for the 24-25 school year or for the 25-26 school year from the state?
It was approved for the 24-25 school year, which is our current year. So
Okay.
they're going to issue the funds no later than June 1st, and we're going to issue it in the June 30th payroll check.
So all schools are doing that for this school year?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hicks?
Does it apply for bus drivers?
yes.
That's exciting.
Good. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Members of the Halifax County Education Foundation?
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
did you have something else,
Could we
Dr.
back
Buckley?
up?
I'm sorry.
There's a second piece to this,
It is, sorry.
and they're two separate votes. I apologize. So this is a separate piece. So at the end of the year, we have to analyze, project, and review all things. So in looking at our budget, the $1,000 bonus, we do have to allocate our funds to every category in our expenditure area. I want to first have your attention on the $1,350,000 for our federal line. Upon further review, we need to make a correcting entry. We have more grants than we originally projected, so that $1,350,000. This is a flow-through account, so the funds just need to be allocated, so they're fully reimbursable. So we need the number there so that we can continue for the rest of this quarter of all our federal funds, including the ESSER. So that is why we're requesting the $1,350,000 to be added to the federal fund line. That money is not coming from state or local. It is, again, a pass-through with full reimbursement. And if you scroll down the screen, the second half of this, to ensure the accuracy and proper alignment, we did review all of our categorical funds and where we would need to move monies around to support the $1,000 bonus. And we also looked at our utilities and security lines. So we are moving money within. The bottom line, the budget increase is $82,537,097. We have taken our excess out of instruction and filtered it through into admin, attendance and health, transportation, operations and maintenance, and technology was fine. They're like under budget. So we are also taking some of theirs and I'm putting it in transportation and operations and maintenance. So not all of that is a move because of the bonus. Some of it is a move because of utility costs, fuel costs are a little bit more than we anticipated. Even with our fuel bid, we're consuming more. So And electric bills went way up, and it's not because of usage. It's fuel factors, and they have a tariff on those bills. So we have a little bit of increases. So we have the money, we just need to reallocate where it is.
All right. Thank you for that
So this is the
explanation.
second vote that I would need from the board.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Buckley on these changes?
Make a motion to approve that budget.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will have a signature sheet that I will need from you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the Halifax County Education Foundation. Good evening, Mr. Clark. How are you?
How are you? I won't ask anything about dates, I promise. No, thanks for having us tonight. I'm here to just give a presentation on some work we've been doing with the Education Foundation. I don't know if you have my PowerPoint.
No, do you have
Maybe.
Oh, wait.
If not, I can just talk. I can talk through it. I'm agile. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a joint venture between the Halifax County Public Schools and the Education Foundation. We're kind of at a turning point with the Education Foundation where it's kind of like we really need to make some changes, or I feel that the Education Foundation will eventually die off over the years. We'll just kind of stretch our money out until it's gone. And so we found this a unique opportunity to work together to leverage goals between the Halifax County Public Schools and the Education Foundation. One of the big parts of it is having a dual role. I mean, one person, a dual role where they work for the Education Foundation to do grants and raise money and things like that. And the other is to create a public relations person for the Halifax County Public Schools. When you're trying to attract industry and people to work here and live here, they look for schools, they look for healthcare, things like that. And so this would be a good opportunity for them to really show the positive and great things that you're doing with the school system. And also, we go online, you see grades and all this stuff. They can work on those metrics, whatever they are, to increase them so people that don't from here can go and just look on that. It'll also support long-term sustainability and growth in education. Another thing is we'll centralize the grant writing for event planning, community relations, and also there'll be another person to support HR functions like onboarding, retention initiatives, and professional development for iTeach and other programs through the school system. So you asked where the money comes from. So this will be co-founded through the Halifax County Public Schools, the Halifax County Education Foundation. The employee will be supervised by the Halifax County Public Schools Director of Human Resources and the Education Foundation leadership, so they'll get kind of a joint evaluation with that. Other things is data-driven evaluations. We hope this person will come in and pay for themselves with grants and other things to give back to the school system, and then it'll also provide kind of a one-person for when there's needs for the school, whether it be teacher mini grants or a school needs this or athletics need this or whatever. There could be a one person that they go to, and then we could have industry or others in the community. They could say, hey, we really need this, and it gives industry, it gives other businesses and things in the area or grants one person to go to, and then it gives also the people, the teachers and coaches and things like that, one person to go to, versus a bunch of others. So I really think this will centralize the position. It'll help It will help just tell the story of the public schools, and also I think it will. I think the Education Foundation does a lot. We had a retreat, and we were able to hear from a lot of foundations from all over, from Dr. Huskin brought us from Lynchburg, from DCC Education Foundation, and a couple others, and they're doing some amazing things. So as we are in Halifax County, but they kind of show us, if we want to, where do you want to be when you grow up? What's our next level? And so. It gave us a lot of ideas to kind of go forth, and so we thought that we could kind of kill two birds with one stone here, create one position that could serve both the board and the Halifax County Public School System. And the last thing is just create a sustainable model for educational excellence and community impact in Halifax County. And so that's kind of the ask. If you have questions, I can try my best to answer them the best I can. And if there's a lot of my other fellow board members came. No, they had stuff to do. They are super supportive of it, and appreciate Dr. Huskin and Mr. Mason for coming to the Education Foundation and being a part of the group, because with without you guys being a part of the group, it's really hard for us to know what you want. And so, anyways, any questions that you guys have?
Thank you, Mr. Larkin. You did not need the PowerPoint, just to be clear. Good job.
No, I'm good.
Ms. Runyon?
Yeah, just a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Just for clarity, would this be a contracted employee with Halifax County Public Schools or Halifax Education Foundation?
I think it would be through the public schools, and then they would also just serve the Education Foundation. And then the Education Foundation will be able to give input to the their review and things like that. But they ultimately would report through the HR function through the Halifax County Public Schools.
Do we know how long of a term this contract would be for this employee?
It's through, we'll be using grant funds, and it would be very clear the understanding for the position is your position is a grant-funded position, and the goal is it's become self-sustaining, that they write enough grants to fund their position and bring in sustainable funding for the Ed Foundation to grow and for help to continue to fund the workings of at least cover their own position, but certainly the idea is to grow functions of the foundation.
And we wanted the salary to be high.
That's one of the things we learned from other foundations is that's a minimal.
I think that was my main question
it's
clarity.
It's cost neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for us, it became loud and clear that with grant writers and things like that, you got to pay to get them. I mean, you could, and so I think this is a win-win because the foundation, if we just put our money in by ourselves, we couldn't afford the caliber of person that we need to write the grants and everything without the help of the public school system, and then the public school system wouldn't be able to fund it all by themselves either. So I think with the salary where it is, and potentially, we have that caliber of person that can write those grants and go out in the community and try to keep the Halifax County Public Education Foundation going.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think you said this, but it is a 50-50.
It is
Foundation puts up half,
right,
the school
right.
system will put up half. School system would be responsible for benefits and everything else.
We just learned so much from hearing how Danville Community College Foundation, and we also learned from we had a panel of 3 other very successful foundations that had started basically where the Halifax Education Foundation is, and okay, how'd you do it? How'd you get where you are at a point of sustainability? And they said, we started very small, and we started to just write grants and grow, and they also blended their strategic plan. The only goal of the Halifax Education Foundation is to support the plans of us, K-12, not anything else. And so in order to do that, you've got to know what they are and know what the plan is and get there. So it's very much got to be intentional.
And without the foundation, a lot of times there's hurdles to accept funds. Sometimes the school can't just accept funds directly; they have to go through a nonprofit. It's like a lot. Like without the education foundation, it will become hard for the public schools to accept funds unless you create your own, nonprofit or something else that replaces the education foundation. So I think it's advantageous. And then, we also got a lot of, things about we could do events and fundraising to hopefully, bring teachers together, bring you guys, bring everybody together to have fun events that, support the education. I think people don't mind spending money doing things like that. So, but if we have a resource to do that, we really try to take the education foundation to that next level. And then they'll also have time to go meet the industry, go into the community, sit down with all these different leaders and things that can give money. And so they'll have the bandwidth to do that. So I think they'll pay for themselves.
I appreciate your clarity on that.
Yeah.
With that said, if there's no other discussion, I'd make a motion to approve the community engagement coordinator position.
Second. I have one question.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Coleman.
When will we know what the salary for this position is going to be? Like how much we will be responsible for?
A range was posted, or will be posted in the job description.
I remember what it was. I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Yeah, it's a coordinator.
I don't want to misspeak.
It's on a coordinator scale, so it's on there. So it just depends on the person's, whatever the candidate's qualifications are, and it would fall under the coordinator scale on our pay scale. So it would just matter on whoever the
Candidate
is and where they fall on there's the job description, and wherever they fall on the pay rate based on their experience and all that, and then we would split it with the foundation.
I think the foundation agreed to give up to $52,000, I think, for the position, and so the school board would be whatever half, if it's.
But we are pulling it from some grant funding that we have, that we need to spend down.
Yeah, so if it's 80, we'll split it 40. If it's 100, we'll split it 50, 1,000 or something, whatever. That's what we'll kind of give to them. And right now, just full clarity, our education foundation, all of our staff is retired, and so we don't have anybody. And so I think this is kind of a, if we don't do it, then the education foundation will probably fold because we don't have any staff. And we are very appreciative of the people that have been part of this for so long, but they want to do other things, which I don't blame them. So.
You're good. So we had a motion second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Thanks. See you guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Last item on the agenda is a date for a work session. That was listed under me. Ms. Shaw, you did reach out with a couple points. I didn't really know which point we were going to discuss in the work session. If you can give me a little clarity on that, we're going to have a discussion, maybe get a date set for you.
Yeah, it's a work session with the school board attorney to continue prior discussions and hopefully resolve some issues.
Prior discussion from our last meeting?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions about that from anybody else? And you do want that to be in person with the school board attorney?
Correct.
Do we give him our available days, or does he give us his available?
I would say
days?
if we want to move forward with this, let's pick a couple dates and
Okay.
and if it's a public meeting, it's got to be, we've got to do 3 days notice there as well.
I also say if we move forward this, we do it outside normal working hours, not 8 to 4. We do it on the evening where we normally convene in the meetings.
Could it be part of our next meeting?
Our next school board meeting is June 9th.
It's up to you all.
I don't have a problem doing it then, if that works for Mr. Schwartz.
We can check with him. If that doesn't work, then we can follow up and have another work session. And everybody good with that?
Yeah. I have a question. I know that, it costs money to have an attorney at our meeting, so is there a reason we have to have the attorney? I guess I'm a little bit confused.
Absolutely, because there are legal concerns that have come up and been addressed, and they were brought in to address some concerns. And without time for folks to prepare, and we need to finish that discussion.
Is there a reason it wasn't finished when we had the attorney previously?
Yes, because he was called in without board members being aware that he was being called in.
I'm not sure that any board members were being aware other than who called them in.
You weren't the subject of that, so.
I don't think any legal concerns were brought up during that discussion. There were concerns, but there was nothing.
Except the lawyer was the one that was bringing up those and answering and asking the question. So I absolutely think it is a legal discussion, and I think he needs to be there.
We rely on him for our Board of Governors training, and that was what he was here to provide, not.
I would like the opportunity to discuss with the school board attorney and resolve some of the questions that were raised and answer some of the follow-up questions that have arisen since then.
I guess my question is that something that can be done privately with, if the concern, if your concerns are, is that something that can be done privately with the attorney so that it's not costing us all this money to have him in a meeting? Or else I propose that we put some kind of time frame on it. We're paying him by the hour, you know what I mean? It's expensive.
Fully agree. But it is, at this point, something that needs to be done with the school board attorney.
And not something that you can work out with him yourself.
No.
You want it to be.
Yes.
If it goes to the meeting, could it go first on the agenda, so he's not waiting for?
I think that would be.
Unfinished business, or he's not waiting for other reports and stuff.
Yeah.
to move closed session to the first part.
Is it,
Is it
What, does it have to be closed?
Yeah,
Oh.
just like it was the last meeting, it has to be closed to discuss legal issues.
Again, I'm not sure about the legal issue that was violated in that last meeting, but, and I guess it's up to the discretion of the board. I mean, we can vote to whether we have this meeting.
I'm sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Mr. Lord.
I apologize.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I see Ms. Yawl's request in the spirit of what we do for other things when it's, work sessions or, whatever we may do from time to time as a board, whether it's a budget work session or a training work session for the board. I mean, I think it could be, and I wasn't present last time, so I wasn't part of those conversations, but I think, it could be fruitful for all of us to hear whatever questions and answers are given, because, there's always training opportunities for all of us. So, I don't know that we need a lengthy training session, but, if we could pull 90 minutes or something together one day, I mean, I don't think that's.
I would propose that we actually pick a different date
Date.
instead of the date of the actual meeting,
Okay.
if we can.
Do you want to try for the week before? Just ask him what days he's available then.
I will let the board know that I am unavailable all day on the 6th, so if he could do any of the other days that week.
I'm unavailable on the 3rd.
I'm good the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, but not the 6th either.
In the afternoon. I can do the morning of the 5th.
Can we do
What
the
about the
second or the fourth, either one?
I can do the evenings, I can't do,
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Clay. I'd rather have the evening.
I mean,
Can we do it as early as like 5:30, does that work for you?
yeah, I mean, I can do it at 4:30,
Okay.
4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, I'm good in the evenings.
All right, so what dates work? The 2nd is good for everybody? Yell if that's not.
I would not, I would prefer the 4th, but I can make the 2nd work. I just have to move some stuff around.
The 2nd or the 4th?
I can do the 2nd or the 4th,
Uh,
whatever.
I'll email him.
Okay.
And we're looking for about 4:30 on either one of those days?
The 2nd or
Can
the
we do
4th.
5 or 5:30, just
Yeah,
so
if
we don't
we
have to
do-
leave work
Okay.
early?
Yeah, if we do that late in the evening on the 2nd, I can make that day work as well. I thought we had said the morning. So if we're doing the evenings, I can do the 2nd or the 4th.
All right. And I'll shoot for 5:30 on one of those days, and I'll either email you all and confirm, or we'll pull the calendar out again. That sound good? All right.
Thank you.
Ready?
Thank you all. Yes.
All right, pursuant to section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia, move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of considering the following specific matters. A, personnel, the appointment, resignation, and salaries of specific division employees as authorized by section 2.2-3711.A. 1, disciplining specific students of the school division as authorized by section 2.2-3711.A. 2, protection of the privacy of individuals in personnel matters not related to public business as authorized by section 2.2-3711.A4, and contracts, discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offerers, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, or discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, as authorized by section 2.2-3711A29 of the Code of Virginia.
Second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of conveying to a closed session say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.